You're listening to the Chronicles of a Gooner, the Arsenal podcast.
I'm Martin Tyler, and you're listening to Harry Symeou.
Hello and welcome back to another live edition of the Chronicles of a Gooner, the Arsenal podcast brought to you by 90 Min. As ever, I'm your host, Harry Symeou, and I'm delighted to welcome back to the programme the brilliant Dan Potts. How you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. Cheers, Harry, man. I'm really happy because I managed to get my hair cut today, man, because lockdown's now finished. So I am so lucky, man. I was saying to you off air about the actual queues in the lines of people wanting to get their hair cut, man. It's scary times, but man, I'm looking refreshed and feel it as well. But I'm happy to be joined by you, man.
Do you know what? I think I've spoken to about maybe 10 people today, and every single one of them went to the barbers. Every single one of them. It was like the first port of call for everybody, wasn't it? To get to the barbers, get a haircut. Because, it just makes you feel better, doesn't it? Makes you feel better.
Of course it does, man. 100%. Mate, I need to be feeling better at the moment watching our football team. So, yeah.
Yeah, can't disagree with you there. Right, on this edition of the podcast, we're going to be discussing Thomas Partey's fitness. We're going to be discussing the vote of confidence that Mikel Arteta is said to have received from the board. We're going to be talking about all sorts of other nonsense that's Arsenal related, of course, that comes to mind during the programme. And we'd love to hear from you guys in the chat. So if you've got any questions, any thoughts that you want to get across, get them in the live chat and we'll come to as many of those as we possibly can between now and the end of the show. Right, let's start off, Dan, with the news about Thomas Partey. Of course, Mikel Arteta faced the press today. He spoke about Thomas Partey, said that he would love to play tomorrow if he could, and that Thomas Partey is really, really pushing to get back into the side. But we still don't know that he will be available for this Sunday's North London derby. I don't think he will be, I've got to be honest. And I put out a tweet this morning where I was a little bit concerned, actually, because when Arsenal release those injury updates on the website where they literally go through all the players and they say, this player is expected to return to training on this date. This player is expected to be in a group training session on this date. This player is hoping to return by the end of whatever. They don't say anything about Thomas Partey. It says that he's continuing his rehabilitation. Some Arsenal fans think that Mikel Arteta is playing mind games and that actually Thomas Partey is going to be available at the weekend. He's definitely, I think, out of the game in the Europa League. And even if he was fit, given that he's suffered this injury, I wouldn't risk him in a game like that. But where do you kind of stand on this? Are you hopeful that maybe, just maybe, Thomas Partey might make Sunday's derby?
Well, we certainly need him, Harry, that's for sure. I mean, I'd go as far to say that our midfield's weaker than it was last year because Lucas Torreira and Guendouzi would both walk into this side. So I think that we need Thomas Partey personally. I don't think he's going to make Spurs. I was hoping that he would have the Wolves game out and that would be it. But we heard the rumours that the injury looks to be longer than expected. I heard some rumours today to say that he is actually going to be fit and that it's touch and go whether he'll start or make the bench. I don't expect to see him at all. I just think that it's going to be too soon for him after hearing those rumours of longer term injury. I'm not so sure that a few days later we're going to see him on the bench. I don't think Arteta would play those mind games with Thomas Partey. It seems that Mourinho is trying to play them with Harry Kane again. We all know Harry Kane's going to play. He does every single game. That guy is out for 12 weeks and then 12 days later he comes back and he's firing again. So I don't expect to see him out. Thomas Partey is going to be huge for us though, Harry, because it just seems the Arsenal way, doesn't it, at the moment, that Pablo Maria has never been injured more than 3 games in his life and he had a stubbed toe in June and we haven't seen him since. I just don't quite understand what goes on with these Arsenal players. As soon as they come to our training ground, as soon as they come to our club, they pick up injuries. Thomas Partey has never missed more than 3 La Liga games in a season, and now all of a sudden he's potentially 2 months out and he's only kicked a football 3 times for Arsenal. So we need him, mate. We need him. I don't know about you, but I'm a huge fan of him already. I think what he's done at Atletico Madrid speaks volumes, and I think that when he's been in the Arsenal midfield, we definitely look a better side. So I'm praying that it's not as bad as we kind of fear, really.
Yeah, agree. And I just want to show you guys, for those of you watching us on YouTube, what I mean about that injury update. So those of you that are watching us on the video, you'll be able to see it. If you're not, I'll explain it. Don't worry. So we know, take for example, Seya Kolasinac. They're very clear that he's available for Thursday's match. You look at Pablo Mari, and it says he continues to participate in full training sessions as he approaches full match fitness. He successfully completed 45 minutes for the under-23s on Friday. If you look at Gabriel Martinelli, it says Gabby's now integrating in squad sessions, aiming to participate in an under-23s match before the end of December. So although they're aims, they're very sort of specific outlines, if you like, as to when Arsenal expect those players to be back. But when it comes to Thomas Partey, they've not really been that clear. I don't think he's going to make it. I'll say it again. I can't see him recovering in time for Sunday's North London derby. It would be great if he did. But then even if he did, Dan, I mean, how fit would he actually be? And if you're looking at a player as important as Thomas Partey, I know the North London derby is a huge, huge fixture, but in the context of our whole season, and when you look at how dire our midfield has been of late, surely you cannot take a risk that could potentially see him miss longer by rushing him back just because it's Spurs.
Well, if he's fit, he plays. And if he's not 100% fit, then he may play a part of the game. But I don't think that if it is a question of touch and go, that we should risk him at all, because I think he's so important to our team. And if you're going to miss him against Spurs, I'd rather miss him against that Spurs game and see him play a run of games after that than to make him play half an hour or 60 minutes of the Spurs game just because we feel we're so desperate for him and then he's out for another 5 weeks. I just don't think we can take the risk with a player as important as Thomas Partey. If it was a player that was young or just coming through and we felt that Maitland-Niles was needed for it, then maybe I would take the risk. But I feel like such an influential player in Thomas Partey would just not be worth the risk. And it's going to be an interesting one to see what would happen if to deputise for Thomas Partey, because we've seen Xhaka and Ceballos fail plenty of times together and go through a good cup run. We've seen El Neni, who now comes back from coronavirus. We're going to look at the likes of Maitland-Niles or Willock that may get a start in there. There's just no one that replaces Thomas Partey for me. So he's so important, mate. So important.
He is indeed. Let's just quickly run you through the comments that Mikel Arteta made with regards to Thomas Partey and, of course, the pre-match press conference ahead of the visit of Rapid Vienna, the first game in which fans will be allowed back into the Emirates Stadium. Stay tuned to the Chronicles of a Gooner for some content from the Emirates Stadium. So I'm going to be there and I'm going to be bringing you a post-match video from the Emirates Stadium. We'll be talking about the game, but also we'll be talking about how it all went and how the atmosphere was and kind of how strange it was to be in there. So looking forward to putting that one together. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But Mikel Arteta said he's been training separately in the last week or so, and we have to scan him again to see how he's feeling. He's a player that is so willing, that is pushing us every day, and he wants to do it. At the same time, we have to protect him and make sure that when he gets back in the team, he is ready to do that. And to whatever extent of minutes we can use him. So it's going to be crucial with the moment he starts to train with the team to see how he's feeling and how he's evolving day to day. He was then asked whether he is going to be involved on Sunday, whether he thinks he can be involved on Sunday. And he said, we don't know again. He's really pushing every day and trying to get around the doctor and the physios, but he hasn't trained with the team yet. So let's see this week if he can get a session or two and then assess him. We need to scan him again, all that usual stuff. And obviously they're waiting for the medical staff to give Thomas Partey the green light. The fact that he hasn't trained this week and it's Wednesday, we're recording this Wednesday night, I think for me, says it all. I think that from that you can draw your conclusion.
I think it says it all that he's going to be out for the game in the weekend, but I don't think it says it all that he's going to be out for months, like people have said. Because if you're looking at, is he going to be okay over the next couple of weeks? We just need to make sure the scan's okay. I don't think that's going to be. I think Arteta he's been pretty honest and transparent as far as interviews are concerned. And I think that he would do that in press conferences. He would say, no, I'm afraid it's going to be another couple of months. Because why would he lie? Why would he have to lie about that? I don't think it's like a kind of a secret, so to speak, if he is out long term. So I would say that he's pretty hopeful that, he's going to be back in the next couple of weeks or the next week or two, but I don't know if he's going to make the Spurs game. That's what I would take from that statement, personally.
Yeah, Yeah, good stuff. Let's see what you guys are saying in the live chat with regards to Thomas Partey. Lots of you saying hello, first of all. Sorry, I missed these. Big hello to Rahil. How you doing, mate? He says, keep up the good work. Zachary says, afternoon, fellas. You must be in the States if it's afternoon over there. It's pretty late over here, keeping Dan up past his bedtime. Fatality Chameleon says, hey, finally a group I can hear talking sense. Thank you, mate. Welcome to the show. Big hello to everybody else. MS Hussein in Milton Keynes, and Tim in Exeter. How you guys all doing? Let's see. Chris Castell says, didn't he do something similar with Rob Holding against Man United last season? I honestly can't remember. I've got to be honest. Right now, it's not coming to me. Maybe it's because it's late, but it's not coming to me. Fatality says, don't see Mikel doing that, and I doubt Jose is at all scared right now. Let's see what else you guys are saying. Jack Burgess says, really do think Partey will play Sunday. Have a feeling he's a lot closer than reported. Abdi Aziz says, it's a derby. Form is out the window. We just need to dominate the game like we have always. Hopefully Partey is available. So lots of people are pretty confident that Thomas Partey,
I'm surprised.
Yeah, will play a part. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'd like to think he will be, but I couldn't, with any degree of confidence, say that he will be. So we'll have to wait and see. In other news, Dan, David Ornstein has reported that the club are fully behind Mikel Arteta. Now, of course, Arsenal have been on a poor run of results in the Premier League of late, and Mikel Arteta has come under intense scrutiny from sections of the Arsenal fan base. But it seems that as far as the club are concerned, as far as the Chronicles are concerned, and those sort of in the higher positions at the Emirates Stadium, actually, Mikel Arteta is pretty safe. Now, me and you have spoken about this, Dan, on other shows this week, and I'm pretty confident that Mikel Arteta isn't going anywhere, at least until the end of the season. And even then, I think it's got to be a real catastrophe of a season for Arsenal to pull the plug on Mikel Arteta. I think they've given him additional responsibility. They've given him a vote of confidence. The Chronicles in particular have put their hands in their pockets and made sure that he got one of the centre midfielders that he really wanted in Thomas Partey. I can't see him being shoved out. David Ornstein doesn't think he's going to be shoved out. And, I guess at this stage, it's probably the right thing. I wouldn't say it's gotten so bad that we have to be thinking about sacking him. Would you agree?
I think he's going to make the season whatever. I'm with you. I don't think the board wants to get rid of this guy, and I don't actually think deep down the fans do. And the reason I say that is because if he's staying, it means we are progressing. And surely as an Arsenal fan, that's what you want to see. You want to see your team winning. And I know there's some people out there with their own agendas and they want Arteta out, whatever, just to basically say that I told you so. But in my opinion, I would love to see this guy turn it around because I actually think that he's got the makings of a great manager. Now, a lot of people don't want the fact that he's learning on the job. And a lot of the fans wanted an Allegri or a Simeone. And I was one of those, because I felt that we needed an experienced coach. I thought we needed somebody with this players that I don't rate, as you know. I think most of them are bang average. We needed someone with a little bit of an understanding of how to get a team over the line. Now, he proved that he could win something with his side and he could go on a good cup run. But at the moment, in the league, he's continued to struggle. And I'm just frustrated with him at the moment for not showing me solutions. That is my biggest criticism of Mikel Arteta. He's got some solutions on the bench. We've seen them on Thursday nights come on and perform like Willock and Nelson and Maitland-Niles and the Ballagans of this world, Smith-Rowe, etc. I would like to see him use some of those personally. Now, when I look at it, I feel like the board don't want to get ruthless Gooner, Potsy for PM. What a top man. What a top man. Cheers, bro. I would say personally that we're going to get to a stage with the fans that they are going to have to accept that this guy's not going anywhere because I don't believe the board want to get rid of him. January is a massive, massive, massive month for us, Harry. It's huge. Absolutely huge.
Do you think he'll get backed? Do you think they'll go and spend in January?
If January was tomorrow, then I'd say absolutely 100%. But I feel that I've said that the wrong way around. If January's tomorrow, I'd say potentially no. But I believe we're going to lose a few more games until January. So I actually think that if you look at the coming games, you've got Tottenham, you've got Burnley, you've got Southampton, you've got Everton, you've got Chelsea. Those 5 games, they worry me, every single one of those, because Southampton are playing well. Burnley are always a team that could nick it 1-0. Spurs are on form. Chelsea are on form. And Everton are a different animal this year. So there's 5 games there that get to Boxing Day and we could be in the relegation zone, no joke. So if it does get to that stage and we are in a position that perhaps, we're looking at fighting towards the bottom as opposed to the top, then yeah, I think he 100% has to be backed in that situation just to get us out of trouble. I believe he needs to be backed anyway. But what can you do in January? I mean, especially during a pandemic. I think, Dominic Szoboszlai has been mentioned from Salzburg, who I think would be a great signing. 18 appearances, 9 assists and 8 goals so far this season in the Champions League and league form. That's the sort of player that potentially we're missing. We were looking at the Hossam Aouar deal for Lyon, which I went on record and said that I'd heard reliably that we had signed him, and it all went to pot with the Lyon president. That's another option for me. Lyon aren't in Europe, so we can offer him Europe at least. But it's going to be hard to attract these players the way we're playing at the moment, Harry. I'd like to see us with Gabriel and Partey in the team more often. But January's a big, big month, and he needs to be backed, and not just with one player. Dominic Szoboszlai is not going to be enough to get us into the top 4, which is where we all want. We're going to need 2 or 3, and I'm not so sure that's going to happen in January, man.
Interestingly, with Szoboszlai as well, he's got a 25 million euro release clause, which is very affordable for a player with, I'm not going to say he's the finished article because he's not, and he's very young, and obviously there's still a lot of development. You've also got to take into consideration where he's playing his football. He's playing in the Austrian Bundesliga, which, with all due respect, is not one of the elite leagues in Europe. Will he need some time to adapt? If he does come to the Premier League, I'm sure he will. But for somebody who appears to have such a high ceiling like Dominic Szoboszlai, 25 million euros feels like pocket change. The thing is here, I think we're going to learn a lot about, we know that the Chronicles and the club's hierarchy are behind Mikel Arteta. We know they're backing Mikel Arteta. But I think January is going to tell us a lot about how much they're backing him and how much the Chronicles are willing to dip into their pockets to get deals done if they can be done. Our expectations have to be managed going into January, because January, as everybody knows, is notoriously a difficult month. And I think it's a difficult month under normal circumstances, let alone after a global pandemic. There's news today in the UK that the vaccine's been approved, which is obviously fantastic news, because the quicker that gets rolled out, the quicker we get fans back in stadiums, the quicker the revenues go back up, and the quicker we get to see the game of football that we've come to get used to throughout our lives, and not this strange game that's being played in front of 0 spectators and all of that. So, all of that is coming, but it's not going to happen by January. So will Arsenal feel as though the situation with regards to the squad is so bad that they need to put their hands in their pockets again? Because we know they did that for Thomas Partey. I keep mentioning that, but I think that's important, because a lot of people are always looking for something to beat the Chronicles with. And in the past, I've been very critical of them. I take issue with the fact that they're always absent. They're not really as involved as maybe some of the other owners are. Maybe they're not as hands-on enough. But they did invest. They did invest over the summer, despite us not being able to shift out a lot of the deadwood that we were hoping to. So, I just think it's going to be a really interesting window. I just wonder if, given the kind of faith they've shown in Mikel, if they're going to go big in January and say, here you go, mate. Here's another 40, 50 million pounds. Let's improve this squad further, because we've seen the first half of the season, or not even half, but we've seen the first part of the season, and we know, and we can see, and you can see, and you've come and told us, and Edu's come and told us that we desperately need recruits in certain positions. I just wonder. I'm not sure how do you.
Listen, I hope so. I massively hope so. I think what we do need is players, because the ones that have been either new or young are impressing us. You see, and I'm looking at the players of Saka and the Martinellis of this world that look fantastic and look special, like Fabregas did when he came on the scene, and the Wilsheres did when he came on the scene. But the players that have actually been brought in, like the Gabriels, who I think has been our player of the season, you've got Partey, who's been fantastic in there when he has been fit. Kieran Tierney showing why he's been wanted by all across the world when we got him. I think when you look at the likes of some of the other youngsters that are coming through, you can say that potentially they're looking like they could be a great player for Arsenal in a few years' time. But I think what we need right now is something that replaces the Wenger players. And I'm looking up 5 upgrades potentially. Now, that's not going to happen in January. But over the next coming windows, we need some outgoings and we need some incomings. And that outgoings is going to be a question mark for me, because I think in the 6-month period that those players have got left at their club, they are more than happy to sit there in training and earn the ridiculous wages that they are. And I think outgoings is going to be yet again another problem this window. But I'm looking at some of the positions. I think Bellerin needs upgrading. I know you disagree. I think Granit Xhaka needs upgrading. I know you disagree. I think Lacazette personally has proven that he does not deserve
I don't
contract.
disagree. I don't disagree. I think they do need upgrading in the long term. I do. I just don't think that, for example, Bellerin in particular is a major issue right now. That's all. I do look. There are better right backs in the world than Hector Bellerin, and I'd like to see one of those come and play for Arsenal. There are better centre midfielders than Granit Xhaka. I feel like there are certain players within the group that the fans are very quick to jump on, and I think they are 2 of them.
I think you're right, and I think the reason that, and I certainly believe, the fans have justification to get on their backs, because when I see someone have 4 bad games, I give them credit. I give them, they've got a bit more credit in the bank to say, like, it's 4 games, man, come on, you can turn this around. Some of these players, Harry, have had 4 bad seasons. I think Xhaka's had 4 bad seasons. I know that you like the lad. 4 bad seasons for Bellerin. I don't think it's just his injury. I think he's been bad since 2016, the year after Leicester won the league. I don't think he's quite whatever, mentally, physically, whatever it be. I think Lacazette's had 2 bad seasons now, maybe 2.5 if you count the start of this one. I don't really see that I'm looking at these players anymore thinking you've got what it takes to take us forward. And I'd like to see them replaced. And I feel like Xhaka had a chance to be replaced and we kept him. Bellerin, PSG and Juventus apparently wanted. We kept him. Lacazette, there was huge rumours about him leaving. We've kept him. So I just wonder if Arteta's given them just this season to see how they react to that. And I feel personally he'll be disappointed because he has put faith in them. And that's my one criticism is he's looked at these players that have let us down for 4 seasons and he's just thought they were going to be good. And he's kind of trusted the ones that can't be trusted, in my opinion. So I'd like to see him put more trust in some of the youngsters now, because when you look at the likes of Saliba, we don't know what he's going to be like because he's not trusted him. He's not really trusted Martinelli. Everybody talks about Martinelli coming back. He's only 19 years old, by the way, but everyone thinks he's going to be the saviour of the season. Martinelli wasn't even getting games. He wasn't even getting games ahead of Eddie Nketiah and Lacazette and Aubameyang. So why do we think he's going to walk straight in the side? I mean, he should do, but I'm not sure I can trust this manager to do that. I think Maitland-Niles deserves more game time, and he's not getting it currently. I mean, Bellerin and Cedric are getting ahead of him at right back, and he's not getting a go in midfield. So he must be thinking, why did I not go to Wolves? Lots of question marks, Harry, about this kind of squad of players. And I wonder if Arteta's scratching his head himself, thinking, what can I do here? So I hope he gets backed in January and the summer. I think he definitely will, if he's still here in the summer, get backed. I think he has to, no matter where we finish and what we do. We want to be moving forward. So I look at the players and I don't see that we can move forward with the likes of Xhaka, Lacazette and Bellerin in particular. But I do believe that we have some positives in that side, that it's not all bad news.
Yeah, good stuff. Totally. I'm not going to say I totally agree with you because I disagree with you slightly on some of the points. But yeah, no, you make the points well, of course, as always. Let's have a look at what's going on in the live chat. By the way, if you haven't already, make sure you smash that like button. I can see there's plenty of you watching us live at the moment on YouTube in particular. So if you haven't already smashed that like button, please do. I can see there's only 21 likes, but there's well over 100 of you tuned in live at the moment. So make sure you smash that like button. It really, really does help the video. Right, let's see what you guys are saying. Just scrolling through. Lots of Potsy for PM stuff going on in the chat.
Much
I'd
love,
vote for
man.
you
Much
rather
love.
than these
Would you?
clowns we got at the moment. Yeah,
Well,
of
man,
course.
listen, there ain't much to choose from, is there? Do you know what I mean? I don't have to take it as a compliment. I'm not going up against people like Boris and Corbyn.
Yeah, exactly. Tim says the players are letting down Arsenal, not the manager. Always easy to blame the manager. What about the players? Yeah, look, they have a responsibility as well. You know, I hear this argument a lot that it's solely the players and people shouldn't ever sort of point the finger at the manager. But in any walk of life, in any job, when you're a manager, you're responsible for the performance of your team. That's your responsibility. So I get it. You know, we have to be sensible. We have to look at it and understand that it's not just Mikel Arteta that hasn't been good enough of late. The players have to take a huge responsibility for that. But I also don't take issue with people who say the manager is responsible, because ultimately he is. That's just the way it works. Let's see what else we've got here. Jabulani says Arteta needs players. No coach can achieve consistency without quality players. If Xhaka turns around and passes to our keeper while we're in full counter-attack mode, what can Arteta do? Chris says, I don't want to be a dreamer, but the fact that currently in the EPL, all of the teams other than Spurs, Chelsea and Liverpool have 3 losses must account to something. Yeah, I mean, we have lost 5 games. 3 of those games, we had 3 of the games that we probably definitely should have lost. We lost at Liverpool. We lost against City. We went away to Man United and we got a win. And I guess if you replace the Wolves game with the Man United game, had we lost at United and beaten Wolves, I think people would be feeling a bit better. And it's weird. Do you know what I mean? It's weird. Like, the points tally is the same, but it's this mentality thing of like, yes, we beat a team that we really didn't have a right to beat away from home, a team who were better than us last season, a team who finished above us. But then because we lost to Wolves and we lost to Villa, and do you know what I mean? It's the same points, but it's the way of perceiving
I think it's
it,
because
isn't it?
it's a change, and I think that they can't quite accept it, Arsenal fans, that we are somehow competing now with the big games and losing the ones that we used to always not have to worry about. I mean, Aston Villa and Wolves and even Leicester at home, I can't remember the last time we've lost to those 3 teams at the Emirates, if I'm honest with you, because it's been a long time. I think Leicester was a while, Villa was definitely a long time. And then you look at the Wolves situation. So, yeah, I think you're right there. Perhaps if we would have won those 3 games and then lost to Liverpool, Man United and City, it would have been the same old Arsenal. Do you know what I mean? So I think that it gets to a stage now where that's definitely changed. I think we can seem to compete for whatever reason with the big teams.
On that note then, do you feel like I feel? Because I'm not saying I'm confident going into the North London derby. I'm absolutely not. But I feel more confident that Mikel Arteta will get it right in these kind of fixtures. And that says a lot about sort of what he's instilled at the club.
The only reason that we've got half a chance is because it's the similar sort of games that we went through with the cup run, isn't it? You know, when we had the Cities and Chelseas of this world and we seem to pull it off by playing a style that perhaps isn't that attractive to watch. The problem we've got is we're coming up against a team that is playing a style that is very unattractive to watch, but they've got 2 players that can finish their dinner and we can't. And this is the problem. If we do want to take 3 points at the weekend, we have to take our chances. And I don't have the confidence in this front 3 to do so at the moment, particularly if he's going to continue with Willian, Lacazette and Aubameyang as a front 3. So I think when you look at it, Harry, this is a game that I do not think we're going to win. But it would be very Arsenal, wouldn't it, to beat Tottenham and lose to Burnley next week? That would be the very Arsenal way. That is the Arsenal way this season. So let's see what happens, man. We've got to try and get up to it. I refuse to lose this game. I refuse to lose to Spurs. I don't care if we lose 4-0 to Chelsea, City, Liverpool or United. Just do not lose to them. If you said to me now, Dan, it's not going to be very pretty, but it is going to be 0-0, I'd take it. I'd take it.
I'd bite your hand off.
Yeah.
Graham Sutherland, one of our regular listeners. Hey, dear mate. He says, hey, guys.
Hey, Graham.
Keep up the great work. We can speculate forever, but Arteta will stay or go based on results. So it's in his own hands, which is the way it should be. Yep, agree with that. Let's see what else we've got here. Gino Corleone says, hi, Harry. Do you think players from anywhere in the world, when they see the way our manager treated Ozil, etc., they will want to come to our club, knowing that Ozil ain't trust the player, mate, ain't a joke? Didn't get that last line, but I get what you're trying to say. Do you think that the treatment of Mesut Ozil, Dan, will put other players off of coming to our football club?
You know my thoughts on Mesut Ozil. What I will say is that I'll say two things. We're not going to see Mesut Ozil in an Arsenal shirt, so people need to just forget that. It's not going to happen in January when we have to re-register players. He's done at the club. My worry is that it could have split the dressing room. And I don't think that it's Arteta potentially that is treated 100% Arteta who has treated him this way. But I do think he's had a big say in it. And I think that he does dislike his attitude. I think that there is something behind the scenes that we're not quite aware of. But it looks to me as if the dressing room could be either split or starting to be lost. So I'm not quite sure currently if that has helped the situation. What doesn't help is Mesut getting on Twitter every game saying "Yar Gunners Yar" when we're 10 men down, Pepe gets sent off, and all of a sudden it looks like the guy's just taking the mick out of the club. So Ozil doesn't do himself any favours. I honestly believe that the sooner we get rid of him and his poisonous PR side, the better it is for this football club moving forward. Ozil's had his days, 31, 32 now. Is he 32 now? We need to get rid of this guy, and I can't wait for 2021 when him, Mustafi, Luiz, Xhaka, Bellerin, Lacazette, Kolasinac, they all go. See you later. Let's go moving forward. I don't want to see those guys in the team that messed up in Baku. I want to see us move forward. So the quicker we get rid of Mesut Ozil, the better.
Cool. It looks like he will be off at the end of the season. It doesn't look like there's any hope for him now. I'd be very surprised if he was brought back into the squad after January when we're allowed to re-register. I sit here and I talk about it every week. I feel like we are majorly lacking in creativity, and as much as people don't like him, I still think he's better than Joe Willock. I still think he's better than Alexander Lacazette playing in a deeper role. So, I find it baffling. But obviously, as I've said before, to me, the whole thing doesn't sit right. But I also appreciate that I don't know the full story, and therefore kind of just got to leave it there and stop sort of poking it, because there's no hope for it.
The thing is, I think he's technically better. He is technically better. I mean, he's probably technically the best player of the club, if I'm honest with you. But when it comes to it, I don't believe I would rather see him in the side. Now that I know he's done and Arteta doesn't want him, I think people need to just either get on board with that or want Arteta out, because the only way he's going to play again is if Arteta leaves. So you either want Ozil or you want Arteta. Arteta's decided that Ozil's not part of his future, and as much as he's better than Willock and Smith Rowe, I think personally I'd rather see those guys who are actually assisting more and creating more and scoring more than Mesut Ozil was given a chance moving forward now, because they're our future and Ozil isn't.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, let's there's one final question I want to put to you, Dan, before we wrap up tonight's stream. Now, we're recording this live after the Champions League fixtures. A round of Champions League fixtures in which Olivier Giroud has just scored 4 goals in Sevilla. Of course, Sevilla, the current Europa League holder, so there are no pushovers by any stretch of the imagination. Do you look at Olivier Giroud sometimes and think, we made a mistake there? We made a mistake not making him feel at home enough, not making him feel wanted enough when we started bringing in Lacazette, Aubameyang. Because not only is he what appears to be a model professional in the sense of he's not playing regularly at Chelsea, he's not playing every week, but whenever he's given an opportunity, whenever he's called upon, he delivers. He also would give us a different option. And at this moment in time where Mikel Arteta's side are struggling to link up play in the forward areas, I actually think a centre forward like Giroud would be absolutely perfect. Is this a bit of recency bias on my part? Is it because I'm seeing him do well? Is it because we're not doing well? Or do I have a point? Is Olivier Giroud someone that we made a mistake in letting go?
The reason Giroud is being talked about at the moment is because of one man, Alexander Lacazette, or Lacazette as I call him. If he was firing on all cylinders, or if Aubameyang was firing, or if both of them were firing, it doesn't matter what Olivier Giroud's doing, because we've got 2 strikers that are banging form. The reason Olivier Giroud is being talked about at the moment is because our strikers can't finish their dinner. If it got to a stage where I had to pick one player, Olivier Giroud or Lacazette, I would go with Olivier Giroud, and everybody was slating Didier Deschamps for picking Giroud over Lacazette. I can totally see why. There is no Olivier Giroud. I have a lot of respect for. I liked him as a player. I thought he was very underrated. But what I will say is one thing: he is a player that has used his attributes to the best of his ability to get to where he is. He's not a Kylian Mbappe. He's one of those players who holds the ball up. He's great with link-up play, brilliant in the air, a man mountain, brilliant doing those runs across the near post. Those sort of strikers, they're kind of rare. And I think that Giroud had a very good time, a very good career at Arsenal, and will go down as a great player for Chelsea in the last couple of seasons because he scored some great goals for him. And I do honestly believe that if we had one striker to choose, it would be Olivier Giroud. Now, I understand why we sold him, because he was the domino effect to get Aubameyang, because Batshuayi went to Chelsea, Batshuayi went to Dortmund, Giroud went to Chelsea, Aubameyang come to Arsenal. That was how we got Aubameyang. So if people still wanted Giroud to stay, we wouldn't have had Aubameyang. And out of the two, of course, Aubameyang is an upgrade. But it would have been nice to have kept Giroud, because I think he's a different dimension striker. He's somebody that would come on for like 20 minutes, 10 minutes, and he would change a game. I really liked the guy. I think he got a lot of stick. I don't think that he was ever a standalone striker when he was at Arsenal. I'd love to have seen Podolski or Theo Walcott with him at the time. They started to try Lacazette with him, but then appreciated that Aubameyang was the better option when Sven Mislintat come in, so Giroud was going to go out the other way. But it's a great point, Harry, because Didier Deschamps was always slated for bringing Giroud in instead of Martial and Lacazette, and I never saw that as an issue because it was doing wonders for him.
He won a World Cup. He won a World Cup.
Exactly. Look what he's won. Look what Giroud has won. So I can't sit there and say that he's, give him too much stick. And tonight proved again, scored 4 goals for Chelsea in the Champions League while we're playing in the Europa League against Rapid Vienna and Dundalk. So it ain't done too bad for him, has he, Giroud?
No, exactly. Let's have a look what you guys are saying on the Giroud subject. Louis Robson says, never made a mistake with Giroud. He wasn't good enough for us. Don't rate him as a player. Jack Bellardi says, Giroud wasn't good for us because we thought we were on the up. We are far from the up, and he would still be okay now. Zip Dow agrees with you, Dan. He says, big facts, Dan Potts. Hola Donkey says, always like Giroud. Mkhitaryan is doing well at Roma. Yeah, Mkhitaryan looks a decent player at Roma as well, to be fair. Credit where it's due. Massive thank you to True Gooner for your kind super chat. Thank you so much, mate. He asks, is Dan related to Chronicles Potts? Now, when I saw that, I had to Google this guy because I don't have a clue who Chronicles is. Have I said that right? Chronicles
Chitty Bang Bang. Yeah?
Yeah, I just seen it.
Man.
I've just seen it, man. I didn't know who he was. So
True Gooner, I'm sorry to say that no, but I used to always get when I was younger, because my dad's called Steve and obviously my first name's Dan. There's a Steve Potts who used to play for West Ham, and his son Dan Potts used to play for West Ham and now plays as a left back for Luton. And we used to always get that. Oh, Dan Potts and Steve Potts. Yeah, there we go. Chronicles
there
Potts.
He is.
Chitty Bang Bang.
Chronicles Potts, also known as Mr. Potts, is a down on his luck inventor living in the English countryside in the 1910s. He's the one who rebuilds Chitty Bang Bang to the delight of the children after buying it for 30 shillings to prevent the car from becoming scrap metal. There you go. That is an interesting story and an interesting comparison. I really like that. Thank you so much, True Guna. And do you know what? You mentioned that that you get labelled as that Luton defender or that people have thought you were him. I actually did a podcast with you once, and I found an article online that somebody had written about the podcast that we did. And they actually put Dan Potts, the Luton defender, says. And I was in fits. I was in absolute fits. Thought he wishes he was a Luton
just
defender.
Don't tell him. Just leave it.
Yeah, exactly. Going back to the Giroud point, Graham says, let's bring Giroud back. He's over 30 and plays for Chelsea, so he must be on top of our wish list.
I like that, Graham. Yeah, great shout.
What else have we got here? Jabulani says, Giroud is our past. He's a great guy, but he's our past. Same as Ozil, same as Ramsey. We need to look forward and not backwards.
Great point.
Yeah, good points. They're all good points. Keith says, Giroud's a big, strong striker. We ain't got anything like him now. Agreed. Tim says, Giroud, great in the air. Archie says, Giroud would be great for us right now, bringing Oba and Pepe into play to bring the best out of them. Yeah, I agree with that. And that's what I was saying. I feel like the way we're playing now, where we're really missing that link up, because we don't have it from an attacking midfield position. We don't have any kind of link up centrally at the moment. Everything is diverted wide. And if you look at sort of the pass maps and stuff from Arsenal's recent fixtures, you'll see that very clearly as well. I will dig them out on another show when we get a bit more tactical. Selgius says, Giroud was so underrated when he played for Arsenal. He was one of the best impact subs. He also made many crucial assists. He was underrated due to his pace, or lack of, I guess. Yeah, absolutely. Fatality says he would have loved all those crosses we were whipping in the other night, Tierney and Giroud. Yeah, good point.
Yeah, Tierney.
Good point. Lots of sort of comments coming in about Olivier Giroud. Lots of comments coming in about good old Dick Van Dijk as well. Great stuff. Great stuff. Arsenal O says, thanks for the stream, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to leave it there because it's getting late here in the UK and Dan Potts has missed his bedtime by about half an hour.
I have.
So we're going to jump off. But thank you to every single one of you for joining us for this live edition of the podcast. Thank you to those of you who are going to be listening to this back later on as well. And if you haven't already, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and we're going to be back with some more content for you tomorrow from the Emirates Stadium. Yes, fans are returning to the Emirates Stadium for our UEFA Europa League clash with Rapid Vienna. So I'll be bringing you a video from there. So turn your notifications on if you haven't already. And for those of you listening on audio, you'll get that the next morning. Until next time, take care of yourselves, stay safe, and all the best. Cheers.
You're listening to the Chronicles of a Gooner, the Arsenal podcast.
I'm Martin Tyler, and you're listening